Welcome to Gear for Music. I'm Andy Mack from Akai Pro. Today we're going to be looking at the MPC Live and hope you enjoy this presentation. So we're going to have a look at the MPC Live today, and we're going to be looking at some of the really cool new features that we've brought to the MPC platform, and how we can integrate this into studio, live performance, singer-songwriter. It really does enhance the power of production in an MPC that we've never done before. Now, so many people make music in different ways now. So bringing key features over to MPC was very vital, so it can adapt into the world that we make music now and the way that we make music.
So hold me tonight.
So this is the Akai MPC Live. This is our newest piece of hardware. And the great thing about MPC Live, this is a pure standalone MPC and a controller. So what that means is that I can take MPC and perform wherever I am, and I'm not tied to the computer, or I can take it to the studio and link directly with my Mac or PC and be running it as a standalone piece of software or inside my DAW of choice. So one of the first things that we've added to MPC Live is clip mode. Now, clip mode gives you the ability to launch audio samples in any environment. So we can do this live, we can do it in a studio, we can do this if we're making our beats, and it's all powered by MPC's new time stretching algorithm. And this enables us to manipulate audio in real time. So let's have a look at the clip mode, and you can see how easy it is to work and how you can really utilize this feature in a live or a studio environment. So normally, when we're in our mode on MPC, we have drums, we have key groups, but now you'll see a new icon, which is called clip mode. Now, instead of hitting drum mode, I will hit clip mode, and now you'll see that the RGB lights will change. They will now be in lanes. So each lane represents a typical type of sound that we'll use in a looping environment. So I've got drums, bass, melodics, and vocals. So now I can select my desired tempo. So my tempo is going to be 1-2-2. And as soon as I trigger my clips, audio is going to start playing, and it can be manipulated by the tempo. So I start off with my drums, and we can speed this up, bring in melodic, vocal, so you can see that in any live environment, you can manipulate clips in real time, and we can do any type of genres as well. This is like classic house. So if I go to future bass, I'm going to change my tempo to about 140, and I just do exactly the same thing. So trigger. And the great thing about clips is that we can combine these with all the other features that MPC adds. So what I can do, I can layer my own beats over the top by going into drum mode. So I'll be playing a clip. I can then go to track 2, and I can still access all of my original modes within MPC. So we can go from drums. We can add key groups as well and go through sounds and add string parts over the top. And we can actually even play chords with the pad performance mode, and this can all be combined over the clip mode. So again, you can see in a live environment or a studio environment how we can combine all these different live features to do some awesome performances. So editing clips on MPC, really, really simple. So where you see the clip program, if you look to the right hand side, we've got edit clips. So as soon as I press edit clips, I now see my clip arrangement. So I can see my colored lanes as well. Now, within edit clip program, this gives me control over the whole program. So what I can do is I can set up my launch quantize. And what that means is if I want all of my clips to launch 1 bar or 2 bars, etc., I can do so. So I simply just use my data wheel here, and we can change that. We can turn it off and do everything in real time. I've got it set at 1 bar, which is fine. Now, if we want to go into specific pads and specific clips, I just hit pad. Now I see the clip. So what I can do is very simple. I can take my finger and we can edit the start and end point of each clip. So if we want to change the duration, we can. I can also set up how I want to play the clip. So I can go into toggle or one shot. And obviously after one shot, it will stop and it won't continue. We've got pad quantize as well. So what this means is I can set up each individual pad to have its own quantize setting, or I can keep it on the default, which is program, which goes back to the original setting where I set up the program. And then you've got mute groups, which basically every time I hit another pad in the same lane, it will mute or choke the original drum program. So using clips is very, very straightforward. And again, you can utilize clip programs and you can blend them in with all the other features that MPC offers, which is drums, audio tracks, key groups, pad performance mode, and you can really do some incredible live performances with MPC Live. So another new feature we've brought to MPC Live is audio tracks. Now, audio tracks really gives you the flexibility to do so many other things inside the MPC environment, enhancing and using the MPC sequencer. So with audio tracks, we can run up to 8 stereo tracks in MPC Live, and this could be bringing in a cappella vocals, using stems from a project, or even plugging in a guitar input or a vocalist and actually, taking this out to another studio and recording elements, which you could either program and produce and process in here, or take it straight back to the studio and then use it in control mode and go straight into your DAW. So it really gives you that flexibility. So using audio, very, very simple. I've got a vocal on track 1. Edit audio. So now I can see my audio track. Now, if I use my toolbox at the top here, I can zoom in and out. So I can find a specific part of the region, use my scissor tool, and everything's going to snap to my desired quantize as well. So at the moment, I think I'm using a 16. So we can just snap here, and then I can highlight that audio. I can move it around the screen, move it to a different region. I can duplicate just by hitting duplicate, and now it duplicates those. Just undo that. Let me just cut that again, select the audio. And also we have the ability to re-pitch the audio as well. And remember, everything that I'm doing audio is using the time stretching algorithm. So if you do want to manipulate audio, as long as you've initiated the warp feature and you've added the tempo of your original stem, now everything's going to be mapped to the master tempo. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to select my audio and select this region, and I'm going to change this down to -5 semitones. And we're going to move my data wheel back here.
I saw you walking down
so you can see
the
that we can select
Melrose.
individual regions and we can manipulate the pitch as well as the timing. So if I go back to my main menu and I take the tempo up to 122 beats per minute, so I could be doing a house remix or something, a tech house. This means that I can take these vocals straight out of my DAW or whatever, bring them straight into MPC and start working on the remix. So again, now, this is all going to be running at 123, 124 beats per minute.
I saw you walking
down on Melrose. You look like an angel straight out of heaven, girl.
And we can change the level of each region as well. So you see, you've got a lot of control over audio. So having that, having that ability to edit audio like that on the fly in real time, and using all the other benefits of MPC by having clip launching, having drums, and merging all this with audio, it really gives you the ability to, create full tracks and actually use this stuff live. So if I was performing, I could be utilizing clip launching, but I could also be running audio track stems in a live environment, like a vocal a cappella, and be bringing my performance and integrate it into the two. So it really gives you a lot of power.
I don't know much about love, but I know that you're doing me right. Ain't nobody gonna hold you down, baby. I'm proud of who you are today.
So let's have a look at some of the really, classic features of MPC, which are combined with all the new audio and clip launching. So I select MIDI, and now I can go into my drum programs. Now, the great thing about MPC Live is that, if you utilize the screen technology, the step sequencer, you can create beats really, really fast. So here's a sequence already created here. So if I go into my grid edit I can zoom in, I can look at all my notes, exactly what's going on in the sequence. Now, if I select, say, my snaps, what's really great when you're programming beats is to kind of loosen everything up and take it off the quantize. Now, this is so easy in MPC Live. We can use the select tool, and I can select specific notes, use the don't snap, and I can just move them off the grid. You can see that I'm taking it out of the quantize to loosen up everything. So we can play that back, move them forward, and now you hear that snaps moving very, very late. And these are kind of features that we all want in production, just so our beats don't feel so mechanical all the time. Utilizing the note repeats as well, we can do this. So I'm going to erase the one that I've got here, hit erase. And now that's erasing in real time. Now I'm going to put that part back in, use my note repeat, overdub. Now, what you'll notice as well, on the grid here, you see that it's actually given me visual feedback of my velocity levels. So it's gone from orange to red, which is full velocity, down to like an orange and a yellow. So that, again, this gives me an indication of actually what's going on my particular pad, so I can get a lot of dynamics into the sound. And then we can go into program edit, and we can look at all the individual parts. We can layer our drums very, very quickly. I literally hit my pad, I've got my 4 layers here, and I can literally just scroll through and layer. I can take here, put a clap on, put another clap on, let's go for a snare. And now I've just layered 3 in a couple of seconds, and then we can manipulate the pitch and everything. So those features are so important when you're programming and you're building up beats and everything. And then we have all the other classic parts as well. You can also assign effects as well directly to each one of the pads. So that's really, really efficient. Or if you're building more kind of electronic based stuff, we can utilize the step sequencer facility. So if I go to a new sequence, I select a deep house track. We do our tempo at 1, 2, 2. I can start off in my step sequencer, select my pad, and I just literally punch in my notes. And again, the great thing about this is that we can do our velocity curves very, very easily. Just punching them. And you can see how responsive the screen is on MPC. It's so responsive. And again, we can go to the grid edit, we can zoom in, look at our grid. And again, if we're building some classic house stuff, we can use the no snap feature and kind of loosen up our claps and snares and stuff to give the beat a lot more vibe. And some other great features as well that really utilize the performance aspect when you're creating on MPC is the Q-Link edit. So this has been completely redesigned. This really does utilize all the power of MPC and all the features. So I'm in the Q-Link edit page, and now I can select different types of projects and programs and have full editing control over those. So at the moment I'm in project, and what I can do, I can set up my Q-Links, which are on the right-hand side here. And as you can see, we've got 4 Q-Links, which are all touch sensitive, and I've got 4 banks as well. So that gives us 16 controls. And what I can do, I can set different parameters for obviously each Q-Link, and that will affect my project. Now, if I go to programs, this basically now gives me control over the entire program. So what we can do at the moment, I've got different parameters set up for each individual pad. So I can go through tuning, cutoff, resonance, filter, and enhance, and take all the parameters that MPC offers and assign these to my Q-Links. If I use pad scene, this means that I can set up my favorite parameters, and it will basically give me that control over each pad. So each pad will give me 16 levels of control whenever I want. And this is obviously customizable to however you want it, which is really, really useful. And then we go to pad parameter, and this really does benefit when you're in like a mixing environment, because what we can do here, we can jump through multiple commands. So at the moment I've got my pad set to level, so whatever I do, I'm going to basically adjust the level of every single pad. I can jump to pan in, I can jump to pad mute, pad solo, my send and returns, and again this then basically puts the same parameter across all of the pads, so all of my cue links will be then doing that command. So this is a great feature. It really enhances the controllability of MPC Live.
I want to how you move it. I want to how you move it. I want to how you move it. I want to how you move it.
Now, the hardware is quite spectacular. Now, if we start off with the screen technology, this has been totally redesigned. This is a multi-gesture color screen, which is so responsive. It's absolutely incredible. So I can go into any of my parameters, and you can see how responsive the screen is on MPC Live. It's absolutely phenomenal. And let's have a look at the back of our inputs and outputs. So we've got our volume control here, master volume. We have phonos, we have 6 outputs as well. So if you want to kind of sum up your separate outputs of your drums, you can do so, or go to a different feed in the mixer. We've got a dedicated phono input for sampling direct from turntable with a ground here. We've got instrument inputs here. We can switch between phono and line. We have 2 MIDI ins and outs, which you can utilize MPC's classic sequencer and be driving all of your MIDI kit. So you could be driving modules or synths and running it all inside MPC. We've got 2 USBs as well. So we can use this for basically USB MIDI, or we can use it for external hard drives for bringing in our own samples. Then we've got USB connection here, which is USB 3. This is quite important because when you connect this is what turns MPC Live into control mode. So as soon as I connect to the computer, I go to my menu, I go to the CPU icon, and then I press don't save or save my project, and now it will basically launch into control mode with 2.0 MPC software. So go back to main, and then we've got our power. Now if I pull this out, the MPC is still running. Now you will have roughly about 5-hour battery life running with MPC once the internal lithium battery is fully charged. And this means that you can take MPC wherever you are. You can be on a flight, you can be on a train, you can go to another studio, you could be doing a production outside, you can pretty much go anywhere. But most of all, you can take this straight to the stage, and you can utilize all of the new features by not having to worry about your power supply. It literally is self-contained, and this is using incredible technology, running the full MPC 2.0 operating system inside a standalone piece of hardware, which is phenomenal. So MPC Live just doesn't operate in standalone mode. We can easily go into control mode and run all of our plugins and run inside our favorite DAW, or use the MPC 2.0 software independently on your desktop. Now, to put MPC Live into control mode is very simple. Go menu, then we have a CPU icon here, which says MPC. Just simply click it, and it says controller mode. Hit controller mode, and now it will interface directly with 2.0. So now I can play my project that I have in 2.0. Well, my screen's running. So I've got all the same functionality, but when I'm in control mode, my audio count will go up to 128 tracks. So, and again, if I want to use some of my third-party instruments or even my effects, I can now add those to my pad. So I've got to go to a vocal here, go to menu, pad mixer, double click. I will now go to my fab filter, press edit, and now my fab filter will come up on my screen, and I can now go through some of these parameters, and you can see my EQ curves changing on my fab filter. I'm basically scrolling through all the different frequencies. I can now jump in and change my gain, and this gives me full hands-on control when I'm in control mode, working inside a DAW or applying third-party effects and plugins to my MPC project. So now you've seen all of these amazing features. There's one thing that brings all this together as well, especially in a live environment, is the effects. So when you're running clips or you're doing audio tracks, what we can do is utilize the XY effects on the 7-inch screen. And this gives us the ability to do like filter rolls. We can do note repeat features, do all kinds of really cool stuff. And this really is a great feature to have live. Or we can use all of our insert effects that we can add to each pad. I can go to my pad mixer, I can double click, go into inserts, and we'll go to insert 1, double click here, and now I can see all of my effects. And if I'm in control mode, I will actually see all of my VST and AU plugins as well to choose from. And you can choose by type or by manufacturer. So if I now go back into XY effects, I'm just going to play a clip here. And we'll start vocal, drums. And you can see I can filter up. And again, if we want to change these effects, we can just go into our setup and we can select different types of effects that we want to run live or in studio with XY effects inside MPC Live. So you've seen MPC Live today. We've covered many of the new features and some of the classic stuff. If you want to find more about MPC, please visit the Gear for Music website. You'll be able to look at images, video content, and feature sets. So thanks for watching this video. I'm Andy Mack, and see you soon.